Hi, Dosha. I'd like you to give me your account. You heard what your husband had to say. You were there with your husband, having a good time. As I understand it, you paid quite a bit of money to have this little VIP section and the limo and the whole affair. How much did it cost?
A little over $1,000
Okay.
for everything. It was like $600 for the VIP section, another $500 almost for the limo. So
Okay.
it was a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah, I would say. And $600 went to the club to rent the VIP section.
Yeah, rent the
Okay.
VIP section. It came with the bottles of liquor and stuff.
Okay. It was your birthday.
Yes.
Tell me what you first saw or what happened to you. I guess this unknown man came up to you, and what did he say to you? How did he act towards you?
First, he came up to me from behind, and I turned around and I seen him come up behind me and try to dance with me. I looked over and I went around my sister-in-law, Melinda Kimmy, and while I was walking on the other side of her, he was like, no, he goes, I'm not trying anything, this is going to be taped or something in that sense of form. And I just kind of looked at him like with a weird look, like whatever, I was just kind of ignoring him. And I went over and I started dancing with him. He didn't want his girlfriend to see, is what he said. And so when I went around, he stopped, and he went somewhere else. A couple minutes later, he came back again. But I'm noticing, I'm keeping an eye on my husband too. He's at the bar, and he's watching everything. Well, the second time he came back, he came back around me again behind me and started trying to dance. And then that's when my husband came out on the dance floor. He got in his face, kind of like in the same distance me and you are right now. And he's like, look, and he's cussing him, telling him that's, his wife and his sister, what is his problem? And they were just arguing for at least 2 or 3 minutes. And me and my sister-in-law, Melinda Kimmy, were like, hey, come on, Bobby, it's okay, let's just go, he's not worth it. And by that time, he got ready to turn, we got him to turn, and he got maybe a quarter way turn. Before he even got that way, a cop came up behind him, but I didn't even see who it was at first because it was dark in there. Came up behind him with a stick on his throat, picked him up, and another one had grabbed his arms. And I seen one of them by the, couple minutes, like a minute later, I seen it was a cop, one of them was. And the other one I couldn't even tell, I was like, because he was in regular clothing. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? You didn't do anything. And they're dragging him, and my sister-in-law was like, hey, let go of him, She's like, that's my brother. And I'm like, that's my husband, why are y'all, what are you doing to him? And they drag him to the front of the club, and then when they get to the door, here comes like a bunch more, like undercover and uniform one.
Okay.
I don't know, either undercover, off duty, whatever it was.
Now, the policeman that first grabbed him and put the stick on his throat, did he have a uniform or
Yeah.
not? He did have a uniform?
Yeah, he
Okay.
did.
Okay.
He did have uniform. And then they drag him to the front of the club, and then when the other officers came and the undercovers came, they drug him to the front, like in the front of the club outside, and they had him on the ground like this, straight out, and all of them were jumping on him, putting knees and elbows in him, and then by that time there was a bunch of people coming out. They still had the stick on his throat
The
too.
patrons were coming out from the club.
Yes, patrons were coming out from the club.
What was the reaction of the patrons that
They were
that
just
witnessed
like,
this?
they're like, oh my God, what, like what's going on? And they're just, they're freaking out too because, this just happened for no reason, and they're just sitting there and they're just putting knees and elbows, telling me, and I'm like, hey, that's my husband, let him go, he didn't do anything. And my sister-in-law was yelling too, and then my best friend's husband was like, hey, that's my brother, let him go, he didn't do nothing. And they're just telling us, get back, and I'm like, hey, but he didn't do anything, why are y'all doing this to him? And by that time they arrested me too, and they're still having him on the ground, and I'm worried about him. And they arrested me, put me in a cop car. I didn't see him get hogtied, but he did. And they put him in a cop car too. And they took him across the street to a parking lot. And then I rolled up in another car behind him, the other cop car behind his. And they had him outside the cop car, had his arms out like this, and they're hitting him with a stick, and they knocked him on the ground, and they're kicking him.
So they had him in custody
Uh-huh.
in the back seat of the police car, took him across the street,
Mhm.
took him out of the car,
Mhm.
continued to beat him.
Yes, continued to beat him. And
Okay.
then they poured some rubbing alcohol, I think it is, I don't know what it was a white bottle, it was a clear bottle, poured it all over his face, you know, he was of course bleeding and black and blue, so it was burning his face. And then they put him back in the cop car, and then there's one white officer that was standing after he helped do it too. He's standing out there and he's just laughing and like dancing, saying, "Ha ha, we got that motherfucker," and you know, they're all just laughing about it. And I'm in the cop car seeing this, I'm like, what is going on? Why are you know, to the other cop, he's like, oh, well, he's just being, you know, an idiot. And I'm like,
Referring to your husband.
yes, referring to him, and I'm like,
Mhm.
why are y'all being so violent? You know, I said, I don't like this violence. And he's like, well, you know, you're going to jail. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to jail. I said, but I didn't do anything. You know, I was like, let me out. I need to get my husband out, you know. Y'all taking him to jail for what? And he didn't tell me then. And so then they took him to the jail, and I was worried sick by the time I was in my jail. I was crying and stuff, and I didn't want to cry in front of like the other girls in jail because I didn't want them thinking I was a wuss or anything. But it was really upsetting because I was scared for him.
Yeah.
I even called my friend. I was like, look, I said, please, and I called my mother-in-law, please just try to get him out. You know, see what's going on, what they're charging with. So because he needs to get out. I said, is he okay? That's my main thing. I was worried if he was okay because I was afraid they were going to take him somewhere and beat him some more.
You got out of jail,
Mhm.
finally. When did you see your husband next?
Probably anywhere from 18 to 24 hours later. After, as soon as I got out of jail, he and his mom picked me up from the jail that I was in. And as soon as I seen him and I started crying.
Can you
I just-
describe what he looked like? His injuries?
And his whole eye was like black and blue and swollen. And he couldn't talk. His jaw was hurting. It just really. And then his whole arms and everything were black and blue. Everything. It was horrible. I couldn't believe somebody like an officer could do that. I mean, somebody that's supposed to protect you would do something like that.
I'm sorry, I know this brings back a lot of very terrible memories for you.
Yeah, it was my birthday. We're just having fun. We weren't bothering nobody.
If you had one of the officers that participated in the beating right here, what would you want to say to him?
I mean, why he did this? Why can't he just do his job and just protect people and not hurt somebody? Why would you want to hurt somebody that didn't do anything wrong? I feel like he should go to jail, not my husband, but he didn't do nothing.
Okay. Doshia, I know this is hard, and I appreciate you taking the time. We want to get you some justice. Any final comments? Anything that you wish to add to anybody that looks at your statement?
Just if anything like this ever happened again, for people to be sure to go and not be afraid of them. Because that's what at first we were afraid of. We didn't know what to do. There, you know, has to be help out there for something like this.
Yeah. Have you given me your permission for me to record this statement? Anything else you wish to care to add before I turn the camera on? Okay. Thank you very much.